Hi, I'm Daphne from Daps Makeup, here to give you the quick tea on luxury makeup. And today we are going to talk about one of my favorite brands. It is SUQQU. If you've been following me, you've seen I've done several videos so far. And what's most exciting about this video, this is another SUQQU collab video. The last time I did a collab video, it was with my girl Loc Maiden, and we are back together again because I love her so much and she makes the most amazing eye looks. But this time we thought we would add a third friend, and it is Mickey Car Beauty. If you're not already following her, please follow her, and I'll leave links for everybody in the description, because if you like my style of makeup, you're gonna love hers. We are interested in the same makeup, in particular luxury beauty, and she gives really good reviews. So please follow both girls because they are just the sweetest. They are the sweetest. So we, like I said, the three of us have very similar makeup loves, and one of our loves is SUQQU. So we thought we would take this opportunity to share with you guys our SUQQU eyeshadow collections. But to also have a little fun, what we did beforehand is that we had shown each other all of our eyeshadow collections, and we've chosen an eye look, a quad that we should all use to do an eye look. So I chose an eyeshadow quad for Mickey. Mickey chose an eyeshadow quad for Loc Maiden, and Loc Maiden chose a quad for me. So now you're gonna have to watch all three of our videos to see who picked for who picked what, and what eye looks we came up with. The quad that I'm gonna be using, you probably already saw from the title anyway, but you're gonna see me do a demo with it. So keep watching and you'll see the look that I came up with. And it is not the eye look I'm wearing now. So I want you to keep watching so that you can see the eye look I use with that quad, because this isn't it. So you gotta watch to find out. Before we get to the demo, I did want to show you all my quads, and I'm gonna swatch them all. And then after that, I will show you the demo, the look that I did with the quad that Loc Maiden chose for me. All right, so it is swatch party time. Let's get started. The first two eyeshadow quads I'm gonna show you are the two that I used to create this look. One is a permanent collection quad and one is limited edition, okay? So these are the two quads that I used to create this look you're seeing today. I'm gonna first start with this quad because this is actually my first SUQQU eyeshadow quad. So when I was first dipping in, I chose this because these are colors that I love and they're very everyday, I guess. These are neutrals that, I can use all the time. And so I knew I would love these color story. And luckily I love the formula that I kept buying, because I will tell you right now, I have at this point 12 SUQQU eyeshadow quads. Yes, we are gonna swatch 12 SUQQU eyeshadow quads. But this was the first one. This is the one that stole my heart. So this one will always have a special place in my heart. It is definitely one of my absolute favorites. So this is number 06. Now, as I go through all the quads with you, and I tell you the numbers, if it is a 2-digit number, that means that it is a permanent collection item, versus if I tell you one that has 3 digits in it, that means it was limited edition. And I will admit the majority of the palettes I have are limited edition. Every season they come out with these eyeshadow quads that are limited edition, and you have to grab them quick because when they go, they go. So SUQQU really doesn't play. When they mean limited edition, they really mean it, because the next season, they'll be gone. And certainly by the next year, they're gone. And I know it can be difficult to find these because it's not sold everywhere. The majority of the time I bought them from Selfridges. And if you are buying outside of the UK, like I'm buying from the US, shipping is not cheap. Is the reason why I bought the Selfridges yearly shipping. So I pay a one-time fee. I think it's like $50, but then after that, I get free shipping all year round. It was mainly because of the SUQQU. Because they also started Harrods, but that's a really expensive shipping for, if you're outside of the UK, and you have to pay every single time. But you can also purchase SUQQU from Cult Beauty in Liberty, London, and they have reasonable shipping where you can get free shipping if you spend an X amount of dollars. So you're not limited to Selfridges. But Selfridges usually gets it first, and sometimes there's certain pieces that are only there that don't come to the other retailers, so just be aware. But nevertheless, we're gonna get started. So the first one that I have, like I said, is 06. This is a permanent collection, so you can get this every time. So let's swatch, and I'll talk about the formula as well as I swatch. So I'm gonna first start with this one. I'm gonna show you my finger first, because against my skin tone, oh no, it does show up, okay. So, because on my eyes, it ends up being basically my skin tone. So I end up always using it basically kind of like to set my concealer, basically. But it works great because it's basically my skin tone. Let's go down to the silver shade. So that one was more of a matte. This is more of like a satin kind of formula. So this one, and see there you do have pigmentation, because I know that's always a concern about SUQQU, and especially for us with deeper skin tones, will it show up on us? And it all depends on the shade, and the different palettes have different levels of depth. But as you can see, this shows up very well, and that's what I use deep in my crease here. Next, I'm gonna go into this green shade. I love this shade, and this is a similar formula to the silver, and that's beautiful. And I use that on my lid on the outer third. Love these colors, and I just think they go so well together. And then lastly, there's always a topper shade. So this shade is a topper shade. So just be aware, just so you can see my finger, but it is a topper shade. So this is one where I did, and I hope you can appreciate it, but I put it on top of the shades here just to add a little bit of sparkle. So I traditionally will use it as a topper shade, or I'll use it on the inner corner. I wouldn't on its own on me just put them just solely on the lid, because for me it just wouldn't be as impactful. But using it as a topper shade to add sparkle to any satins or metallics that come with the palettes, or just in the inner corner, I don't mind if it's a light sparkle in that sense. So yeah, that is like my ultimate fave. This is gonna always have my heart. It's my first quad, and I always love the looks that come with it. You know, a good neutral that just, you just can't go wrong. Just can't go wrong. The second quad, and this is a limited edition. This is 117, and this was part of the fall collection from last year. So you could tell these are great fall colors, and I do love this quad. And so I also incorporated it with this look. So this brown is a beautiful brown that I use in my transition just to provide a little bit more warmth, since the other one is so neutral and so close to my skin tone. This one, which is also basically my skin tone, but as you can see, is much warmer. This is much cooler, and this is a much warmer brown. So I kind of use this to set my concealer, and then I went again in my transition with this just to provide some more warmth, but it's basically my skin tone. So a great transition shade on my skin tone. All right, next, let's actually go to this one. This is an interesting shade. I hope you can appreciate kind of the flips in there. It's kind of brown, green, pink flips. It's very subtle. It's very subtle. And it's very sheer. So as you can see, is, you know, this is SUQQU. So the style of SUQQU, as you can see, it's not this hyperpigmented matte that we're used to, or just hyperpigmented shades in general that we're used to in the West. In the East, they tend to be more, they don't like their colors to be as saturated, but there's an elegance and a beauty to that. So this shade, as light as it is, but it provides dimension because of the flip. So after I put the first two brown mattes, I put that also into the transition, and it provided that you could see, it allowed the brown to still be there as the base, but then you would see these green sparkles, and especially when the shift of light, you could see that, and it just provided dimension so that it wasn't a straight brown matte on my transition. So I love this. It's subtle, but there's a beauty to it. And it's something to appreciate that you do not get with other brands. Not brands that I'm used to in the West, not at all. So then we have the green shade, which is similar to the green in the other quad. So there's that. But this one is a little more brighter. This one is more cooler. So I use this on the inner third of the quad, on my lid. Right now, it's probably gonna be hard to distinguish the two when you have the two next to each other. But this is just a beautiful shade, just so you could use it on its own. For the purpose of the look, I use both, but you could have easily just used one of them, but that's just beautiful. And then lastly, there's always a topper shade. Now this one is a pink tone, and there's that one. And that one even might have a little bit more, this is a little bit more sparkly, but transparent, if that makes sense. And this one is a little bit more pigmented. It has a more of a pink base, where this is more sheer. But that's what I ended up using in my inner corner. So I use this topper shade on my lid, but then I use this one in my inner corner. So that's how I created this eye look using both of these quads. If you're curious about the rest of my makeup, I used a matte green eyeliner from liquid eyeliner from Dior. If you are following me on, if you follow my shorts on this page, or you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen my Dior unboxing, and then you would have already saw that I had, part of my unboxing, I had ordered this eyeliner. I had gotten the newly formulated Dior Forever Concealer, still liking it, just like the old one. Patchwork Addict Shine Lip Shine on the lips. And I do have SUQQU on the cheeks. The flow of the eyeshadow quads, but I figured people were gonna ask, so let me just let you know. So the SUQQU blush I have is a clear color blush 04. It's SUQQU, so I figure why not show it to you. They always have this ombre effect, but I basically just use this side of the quad on this blush on my cheek. For highlighter, I use two highlighters. So there's the Melting Powder Blush 102. They call it a blush, but I use it as a highlighter, so I use that as a base. And then I topped it off with this one. It's the SUQQU Melting Powder Highlighter 101. And these are similar kind of colors. They work well together. This is more of a powder finish, where the other one was more of a creamier finish. So I just laid it on top of each other, and that's how I have my highlight. So that's the makeup of the day. And that's how we got this makeup. My foundation is SUQQU Cream Foundation 160. All right, so we're gonna move away from what is on my face and just go through the rest of my SUQQU eyeshadow. So I figure the next two I'll show you are quads that are permanent edition quads, ones that you can still get. And then we'll get to the limited quads. I do tend to love the limited edition quads, but I wanna first start off with ones that you can definitely easily still get, like at the Selfridges website or any website retailer that sells SUQQU. So we have 08. And this is kind of similar vibes to the previous quad, the two that I showed you. Don't worry, I will show you some other color stories, but I do tend to like green. And so, yeah, I feel like we're getting close to fall. So I guess I'm showing you kind of more the fall themed quads at the moment. So let's see, we have this shade here. This is, I don't know if I should say, I don't know if it's quite a taupe, but a great neutral shade that works well. Obviously the ones you're gonna particularly be loving to see are the two colorful shades. So we have the green tone here, and as you can see, it is pigmented. Like, you know, for everyone who gets worried, these are colors that will show up on us. It does have a soft finish. The finish might be soft, but it's not that you lack pigmentation, if that makes sense. They have color, it's just the finish is just different than what we're used to. And there's the the topper shade. So yeah, you got your neutral shades, and then you have your green and orange, you know, especially great fall time colors. So yes, the finish will be soft, but the color will still show, if that makes sense. All right, let's get to number 14. This is giving me very like Christmas-y vibes for some reason. It probably came around that time. This one, you know, compared to the others, you know, I haven't been showing you in the cases. So this is what, and forget my fingerprints. But this is what a typical SUQQU quad looks like in terms of the shape. It's very reminiscent for me of Tom Ford in terms of the quad, the elegance. I love the elegance of the packaging. And it has the magnetic closure. It's very sleek, sophisticated, elegant. This one, for some reason, was kind of slightly different shape. This might have been their old packaging, maybe, and then they kind of transitioned to this, maybe. I'm not sure. This is the only one I have that's in this particular shape. I remember, I think I actually got this because Suffrages was having a sale. And I was like, okay, I'll just take it. I'll take it. So let's do swatches of this one. Mainly, I don't use this quad as much as I use the other one. So this one is literally my skin tone. All right. So the brown is my skin tone, which tends to be the case whenever I see a brown. It's not too often. I'll show you some quads, but yeah, sometimes you don't get that brown that gives depth for my skin tone. The brown ends up being my transition shade. So sometimes maybe I might have to dip out of another quad for some depth for my skin tone. Let's see the green. This is reminiscent, I think, of some of the greens I just swatched before. Here is the red, reddish pink. And then we have the more golden, icy golden topper shade. So yeah, this is kind of giving me Christmas vibes. You know, as we're approaching, I'm thinking about the new Chanel is coming out, the new Guerlain that is coming out. Hey, do you plan on getting one of those? It's kind of giving me those vibes. For some reason, I don't reach out to this quad that much. All right, let's go for two. It's going to be my last permanent quad that I have. So everything after that is going to be limited edition. This is number 7. This is a very interesting color story. And that's the thing about SUQQU too, is what I love is that they will come up with color stories that are not typical, which is great. So just for creativity and just something different. When you own as much makeup as we have, to see a different color story than we're used to. So there is a lighter pink tone. Then we have this yellow, but it's not a scary yellow, but it's definitely yellow. This is the deeper pink tone. Okay, so more of a pinkish red. And then the real interesting one is this gray one, which is great. And I know you're thinking it's like these don't make sense, but I've made some cool looks that I've actually really appreciated with this. And it's cool to have this to provide the smoke and then this to give some lightness to the look. You know, I'll probably dip out to another quad for some transition shades. But this is actually a fun one. It's one, it'll make you think more what to do when you do an eye look, but then when you do it, you'll be like, this is so cool and so different. Okay, I know, another fall one. This was a limited edition that I think came in the fall of 2021. Yeah, I think the majority of my palettes I either bought in the fall or the pre-summer. So don't worry, I have some more brighter summery ones coming up soon. I guess I'm just kind of going through all my fall ones right now. So yes, giving very strong fall vibes. Once again, I'm gonna start with the brown tone. So let's see how that looks against my skin tone. So yeah, it's very similar to my skin tone. So I can use this as a transition shade for myself. Look at this green. It's like a pistachio green, I'm gonna say. And that's, you know, very pretty. Let's go for this red tone shade. That's beautiful. I really like these shades, and these are very quote unquote wearable. And then the topper shade, the yellow topper shade. So yeah, very beautiful fall tone. solid palette right here. Okay, now we're getting out of the fall. This is a good one. This came out pre-summer 2021. Yeah, these are one of the ones. 2021 was when I was starting to get into SUQQU. So after I initially tried the neutral palette that's on my eyes, this might have been the next one maybe. But this was a good one. This is a good one. So, so let's start with the purple. We got to start with the purple. So I'm going to go right below it. And look at that, and it's pigmented. You know, like I said, it's always a fear for us of deeper skin tones when we're purchasing makeup from an East Asian country. You know, this is a Japanese brand, you know, that it will not show up on us. Actually, let me go with the brown first. I always like to kind of start with the browns. But this one, see now this one is providing depth. You know, all the other browns I've been showing you thus far have been very skin tone. So yeah, I use them in my transition, but then I usually don't have anything for depth. So either I'm going into one of the colors for depth, or I'm going outside of another palette to get a deeper brown if I want to stick to brown for depth. But this one, coming through with the, I swear, I feel like that was the other thing in the pre-summer many times, or the palettes that had the most pigment. So you're going to see going forward, there's going to be a lot of pre-summer. So yes, certain seasons, I guess maybe the pre-fall, pre-summer, I find them to be more interesting color stories and more pigmented. And I tend to kind of skip out, particularly in the winter. I don't think I've bought in a winter season palette. And even summer, I might have one, but I don't buy the summer that often. All right, let's keep going. This one has an interesting texture to it. This has more texture to it, but that's a beautiful shade. And then look at this topper shade, like the dimension and colors in that one. And this has a more grittier feel than the others, not in a bad way, but just, I can just swatching, I could feel that it's different from the others, but look at that sparkle. Ah, this is a good one. This is a good one. Look at the pigmentation. So this will show up nicely. You know, you put this on top of it. You put this in your crease, this on your lid, top it off with this, put that in the inner corner. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's keep going. Now we're doing pre-summer 2022. This is one of my absolute favorites. I think this is the one that I use in the collab I did with Loc Maiden. So you've seen it, but I don't care. We're gonna swatch it. This is a good one. You know what, let's go with the matte blue so you can see the pigmentation on this one. This is such a fun color story and just a beautiful blue. Just so you can how deep it can be, and then you can sheer it out more. That's a great tone of blue. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, it's beautiful. This green is just, I think this was like, how beautiful. I think these were supposed to be kind of almost like sea glass. And it really gave you that when you did your look with these shades. It's just, and there's the topper shade. Oh, like I said, unique color stories, beautiful. And just like I said, it's just a different vibe when you're doing SUQQU, you know what I mean? And if you can feel that vibe, if you can appreciate that vibe, it's worth it. And so no matter your skin tone, don't be scared to get into SUQQU. I think it's, you know, fun to just have different styles and different vibes. All right, let's keep it going. Still with the pre-summer 2022. These were the two quads that came in that season. I got them both because the color stories were so fun and I could tell they were going to be pigmented. Look at this matte. So don't tell me SUQQU can't create some pigmented mattes. They can. So don't be afraid, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a nice one. You know, as you could tell, you know, I always lean towards greens and blues. So this one is my favorite, but I do like purples as well. So this is a nice one too. Look at that. Look at that shimmery shade. So yeah, this was a great pre-summer year. Oh, I remember I loved the whole collection. I forget some of the other products that I bought, but I remember I bought several products from the whole collection and I was just in love. It just really solidified my love for SUQQU. pre-summer 2022. Okay, so we are down to the last 3 quads. Thank you for hanging in, because I know this is a lot to go through. These last 3, if you do follow me on my channel, you're going to be very familiar with, because I have featured them on my channel already because it came this year. This is my only SUQQU summer quad. As I was looking, yeah, I really have been all about pre-fall and pre-summer. No winters, and I do have one actual summer quad. And what's cool about this one was, look how different this case is. It's the only one that I have that is white. I think way back, prior to 2021, I think they might have had some white cases maybe back then, but the signature has always been the black case. So this was very cool to have a white and silver instead of black and gold case. And there is just, you're not going to be able to appreciate this, but there is a slight iridescence to this as well. So this is just a cool packaging. And then the color story is also very cool. There were 2, I only bought one. The other one would look pretty too, so that one's tempting. That one was a purple, which is crazy. I didn't take that one, but I went with this one because what's really, they're all beautiful, but this shade steals the show. Look at this green. How electric. I don't know if you're going to be able to appreciate this, but this is electric. So and there's a shift too. So there's a shift. You can see a shift kind of pink to green. So number 1, you're dealing with the shift. But when it is green, it is electric. I feel like dragonflies. I don't know. That's what comes to my mind. Oh my God, this one is special. And then you have a brown that actually provides depth. We've been talking about not having depth for browns. Well, there you go. That is, you know, like a black brown. This is great. So this is one where I actually have something to provide depth to. This orange works well in my transition. Although, yeah, now I remember. This is more sheer. It's not as depth as some of the pre-falls that I showed you, but still very pretty shade here. And then this is going to be a topper. So this is going to be sheer topper shade. But just for these 2 shades alone, I mean, this one alone, you got me sold. And then I have this one to provide some depth. You know, and then it's a quad. So, you know, you can dip out into other palettes for anything else that you need. But this one is a good one. Pre-summer this year. So pre-summer had a sunflowers theme. How unique is that? I've never heard of a brand ever think of using sunflowers as the theme. And, you know, normally you would think this would not, or I would think to myself, this wouldn't be the color story that would, that I'd be attracted to. Yellows and pinks. Because like I said, I'm a green, blue, gray, purple kind of girl. I love this quad. I've actually used this quad a lot. So it's not my normal color story, but I absolutely love this quad. So you have this beautiful yellow. It's just perfect summer quad. I just love it for the summer. I absolutely love it for the summer. This pink tone is beautiful. We have this more peachier tone. And then the topper shade. I don't know. I have used this quad more than I ever thought I would. I don't know. What can I tell you? I just think it is such a great summer quad. All right, we have one last one, and it's the one that pairs with this one. So this is your sunflower, you know, obviously the yellow you can think of. So when you think of the actual flower itself, the yellow, and then you always have that kind of pinkier burgundy, you know, leaves. Okay, we have come to the last quad in my collection. From pre-summer 2023, the green quad. So back to the sunflowers, when you think of the leaves and the soil, there you go. So this one I saved for last because this one is the one that you're going to see in the demo. This is the one that Loc Maiden has chosen for me to demo for you guys. This was a very popular one. This sold out like this, like the other quad I just showed you, which I love so much. I believe is still available, but this one, oh my God, it was so hard to get this. I got this on a restock and then it sold out again. It was crazy. So let's swatch this. Start with the green, because everybody was just, you know, all about the green, of course. So that's a pretty green. This one is a topper shade, and it has almost like a bluish green to it, so it's more icier than that one. Then we have, I'm just wiping my finger off, this is more of a like a lime green, I guess. And then I know everybody's all about the green, understandable. Actually, I think my favorite shade is this one. This brown is not just a regular brown. So number one, the important thing for me in my skin tone is that this is a brown that actually provides depth. So that it's not gonna be the brown that is just my skin tone, that kind of thing. I don't know if you're gonna be able to appreciate this, but this brown, I hope you can appreciate it, but there's green sparkles in it. So it's not a flat brown. So not only does it provide depth, and maybe you could see it in the pan, but there are green sparkles. And you know, a lot of times, like if you have a traditional matte, like a matte black, they put sparkles in it, it doesn't show up. It's like, it's just BS. It's just to show on the pan. No, this shows on my eyes. When I put this on, you have a brown base, but then you see the green sparkles. And when light hits it, you know, like even this look today, you can kind of get the sense of what SUQQU does. They give you a color that just would seem simple. You might think it might be uninspiring. No, because then all of a sudden there's just dimension. It's subtle, but absolutely beautiful. It's elegant. It's not just going to be a plain brown, a plain green or taupe or whatever it is. Whether the shade itself has dimension or when you add the topper on top of it, you know, that, you know, it's not Pat McGrath. You know, Pat McGrath is definitely much more sparkly and pigmented. But in the same sense of what got me into Pat McGrath in the first place is it was always inspiring to me, especially those initial motherships, how you could layer topper shades and just, I don't know, it always sparks some creativity. This does the same for me, but just in a softer, elegant way. And as I'm getting older, I appreciate that. And so there's days I'm in a Pat McGrath mood, but there's days I just want it to be soft and elegant, but I still want a little sparkle. I always want sparkle. Sometimes I want in-your-face sparkle, and sometimes I want that glimmer or sparkle. So you are gonna see a demo with me using this. At first, when this was chosen for me, I was saying to myself, oh, should I really be doing this? I did a video with this, but that video, and if you haven't watched it, please watch it. In that video, I had done, I combined the 2 pre-summers and the summer collection all in one video. I gave a review of all the palettes as a whole, but in my demo video, what I did was I combined all 3 into one look. So I was using a little bit of every shade, but you know, to better appreciate this palette, this demo is going to be totally dedicated to this quad. And so I think you'll better appreciate this quad compared to the video I did last time, which was really a combination of 3 quads. So here it is finally. After all the talking, you got through all 12 quad swatches. Here is a demo of quad 124. Okay, before I put on the SUQQU eyeshadow, I'm gonna use this, which I feel is basically their version of an eye primer. So I'm gonna put the darkest brown shade in my transition. And I know it's deep, but I'm also gonna use the deeper brown shadow, so I think it'll pair well. Normally I use a clear eyeshadow primer, but I want to take this opportunity to use my SUQQU products. So this is the SUQQU Tone Touch Eyes number 113. And for you to see the shade 112, which is the lighter golden brown shade, I'm gonna actually put that one on my lid because I'm gonna have the lighter green tones. I think those will pair better with that. So I'm just gonna have some fun and just mix different tone eyeshadow primers with the SUQQU shadows. All right, now we got the eyeshadow quad in question. So I'm going into this brown tone. Obviously it's kind of just blending in because I'm also using the brown base, but I really love this. And I'm gonna probably even use another brush too, but I don't know if you can appreciate that it's brown, but it has these little green sparkles. So it just gives it dimension. It's a really, really pretty shade. So, I just love this because it's a great brown shade, but the green sparkles just add such a pretty dimension that it's not just a plain brown shade. Okay, I want to incorporate some green into my transitions. So it's not just plain brown. So let's add some green. I just think that's a pretty combo, the green and the brown together. And especially, like I said, because the brown shade already had some green sparkles. When you add the green eyeshadow, it just blends well. And once again, just giving dimension. So that like you're seeing brown and you're seeing green, depending on the way I turn my head, how the light hits against it. It's just pretty. Like you're kind of going, is it brown? Is it green? It's both. Okay, we're gonna go into this like lime green shade all over the lid. This is providing a nice brightness. That's pretty. This shade here, I'm gonna put it in the center of the topper just to, once again, just provide some extra dimension. I think, I just like how, like layering all these different eyeshadows and just providing dimension so things are not flat. I'm also gonna come back in with that deeper green shade. Just add a little there. I don't know, I'm just playing around. Like I said, I'm just having fun layering the shades. I think it's just fun to just use all the shades and layer them and play. Coming back to the topper shade, but I'm using it in the inner corner. That's why I like it. Gives a nice little sparkle. They always have this shade that you can use it in the inner corner for inner corner highlight, but then you can also top it onto the other shadows. So, all right. So I'm gonna put some liner and mascara and then I'll come back. So on the lower lash line, I used my Victoria Beckham Cocoa Liner to put the brown, but I thought I'd incorporate a little bit of green and use the brush that comes with it. These brushes, you know, I normally don't use brushes that come with an eyeshadow palette, but I'll show you in a second. These are actually good for brushes that come with an eyeshadow palette. They give the best ones if you're gonna use it. Like if you really were stuck somewhere and had to use the ones that come with the palette, these would be the ones. You have this sponge tip, which is a great shape. I feel like that shape doesn't always come in. This is like a traditional shape that you feel, but these actually work really well. And then the other little brush, it's actually like, this is for a little mini. This is actually a good quality brush. So honestly, the two brushes that come with SUQQU, actually, you could actually use these, you know, if you were really stuck in a bind. These are actually good. Okay, so I added a brown liquid liner and brown mascara, and just look at this eye look. I just like how it has beautiful sparkle and dimension. It's not like an indie brand sparkle. It's a sophisticated sparkle, but it's just beautiful and has dimension. And yeah, just SUQQU has just a unique style that I just love. So here's the final look. And closer up at the eye look. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed the demo, like the look that I had come up with, especially Loc Maiden. I hope you liked it because I know that was the quad that you're interested in seeing the most. I hope between swatching all 12 quads that I own and seeing the demo that you have a better appreciation of SUQQU. that maybe a quad that you've been looking at. Maybe now you can see the shades and see how the swatches look and make a decision for yourself if you want to get that specific quad or not. Or if you've just been curious or hesitant to try SUQQU, I hope this opened your mind to show you that SUQQU is a great brand for all races, for all genders. You know, so it's just, you know, it's a vibe and you have to be down for this kind of a look. But open your mind to it and just give a new brand a try. You know, we shouldn't be stuck into our Western bubble. Be open to brands from all over the world because beauty is universal. So I hope you enjoyed this collab video. Remember, please, if you haven't already, go over to Loc Maiden, go over to Mickey Car Beauty, watch their videos and subscribe. And if you're coming from their channels, oh, thank you for watching and thank you for making it this far. And if you haven't already subscribed, I'd really appreciate if you would. I am always reviewing the newest luxury makeup that comes into my collection. And if you could also follow me on Instagram because that's where I'm most active, Daps_makeup. I am very active there, constantly posting makeup of the day looks. Even the new makeup that comes in, a lot of times I will post looks and swatches first on Instagram. And then like about a week later or so, you'll see it pop up on YouTube for a review and demos and such. So thank you for getting through this video. I've had a lot of great fun. Thank you again, Loc Maiden and Mickey Car Beauty. And I will see you next time when we view the next luxury makeup that comes into my collection. Bye.